It is my pleasure to welcome everyone, Principal Officer, Dean, Professor, Director, and Head of Department and Unit, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 21st inaugural lecture of Adekunle Ajayi University, which is delivered by a Professor of Economics, Sola, Olorunfemi.
Your system, yeah.
Vice Chancellor, Professor Olugbenga Ige. Of the university, Deans of faculties and directors of units, distinguished professors, members of the family of the inaugural lecturer, Professor Sola, Olorunfemi, members of the university community, UIs. Let me welcome all of you to the 21st inaugural lecture of Adekunle Ajayi University of Ondo State. The inaugural lecture signifies a momentous academic ceremony marking the celebration of an academic staff member's appointment to professorship. Is the crowning glory in a professor's career.
Share their accomplishments in research, innovations, engagements, and teaching with the university community and the wider public. Distinguished guests, today's inaugural lecture, the 21st in our series, provides a unique opportunity for Adekunle Ajayi University to present one of its finest, Professor Sola Olorunfemi.
Professor Sola Olorunfemi is a distinguished professor of economics. So his lecture titles, Fragilities of Food Security Amidst Microeconomic Issues, a ticking time bomb. Professor Olorunfemi will not only present new ideas to a diverse audience, but also showcase his extensive academic achievements, classroom engagements, and innovative research to benefit the university community and the wider society. An academic luminary who has earned the enviable position of professor through decades of field and classroom work, both nationally and internationally. Therefore, today's lecture holds immense economic importance for all of us, particularly
agricultural suppliers, industrialists, and entrepreneurs, market women, as well as the overall broader society. Professor Olorunfemi, an erudite professor of economics, earned his Bachelor of Science degree in economics from the then Ondo State University, Ado-Ekiti, followed by a master's degree in economics from the University of Ibadan. I also holds an MBA degree from the University of Ado-Ekiti and obtained a Doctor of Philosophy
in economics from the Federal University of Technology, Aaua, in Ondo State. Joining the university on February 14, 1995, as a graduate assistant in the Department of Economics, Professor Olorunfemi has risen through the ranks, attaining the esteemed position of professor in 2013. He's multifaceted individual that served as Dean of the Faculty of Social and Management Sciences, Chairman, Faculty of Arts Examination Conduct Committee, member of those state stakeholders and development committees, acting director, Institute of Pattern Studies, Chairman, Adekunle Ajayi University Guest House Management Committee, and as NUC resource person to Edo State University, among others. Currently serving as the director of the General Studies Unit of this university, has made significant contribution to the university in various capacities and has served as an external professor and examiner to 6 other Nigerian universities. Professor Olorunfemi, a brilliant academic, has received numerous scholarships, fellowships, awards, and academic honors, including many merit awards from academic and student bodies. He is also dedicated to community service, having functioned as the facilitator for the compulsory trial census in Odo State in 2005. Reviewer, Central Bank Journal of Applied Statistics, and member of the editorial board of the Journal of Economics and Finance of Aaua University. He is an active member of the prestigious professional bodies, including the Social Science Council of Nigeria, the Nigerian Economic Society, and the Nigerian Society of Finance Research. With a commendable academic supervision, he has guided 8 postgraduate students, including 4 PhD candidates. Professor Olorunfemi's intellectual contribution extends to 3 authored books, 1 edited book, and over 35 articles in scholarly international journals. Having presented papers at over 20 local and international conferences, including in countries like the United States of America, the United Kingdom, Malaysia, Belgium, Tunisia, Netherlands, Professor Olorunfemi's lecture promises to be an enlightening experience. We anticipate that his profound insights on the topic will serve as a source of inspiration for academic excellence and contribute to societal renaissance. Once again, thank you for your presence, and we eagerly anticipate the enriching discourse that Professor Sola Olorunfemi will undoubtedly provide this afternoon. Thank you, and God bless you. Members of the University Governing Council, Deputy Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, other principal officers of the university, Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences, Dean of the Faculty of Administration and Management Sciences, Dean of the Postgraduate School, other faculties and student affairs, Head of Department, Your Royal Highnesses, my academic colleagues, the congregation, and other staff of our university, special guests, friends, and well-wishers, gentlemen of the press, great AAUN students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am highly delighted to return all glory and honor to the Almighty God, who preserved my life and has brought me this far. Despite the doubts and arrows that came my way, God sustained me, not via of course. I have always seen an enough that academic activities a professor has carried out over the years and what his future research interests are. It is therefore my joy to present the first inaugural lecture from the Department of Economics. Which incidentally is the fifth from the Faculty of the Social Sciences. University, the 21st century university, so properly called. In this lecture, I intend to emphasize my contribution to research in the area of food security and economic growth, highlight the main causes of food insecurity, and make recommendations. I came from a very humble background, and my parents were not learned. There was absolutely no one to look up to, and the expectation of attending a university can only be a figment of one's imagination. As my family do not have the wherewithal to train me, it will be an understatement to say that I grew up poor. I understand what it means to go without having anything to eat in a day. I know the pain of lack and the agony of want. I know what it means to see one's parents toil just to keep away poverty. However, luck smiled on me, and I was determined to break loose from the pangs of poverty. I had the urge that I must go to school and make it to the top, regardless of my unprivileged background. I made it to secondary school, where I was privileged to be taught economics by Mr. Olorunfemi of blessed memory. It was as if he walked into my head and turned all the lights on. It defined any basic concept in economics. I can still vividly recall how it defines some basic economic concepts, such as one, scarcity, demand, supply, and utility. His lesson ignited a passion in me, and it became a great impetus of my life. He did not know he was doing this, but he gave me my life. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I am standing here today as a professor of economics, and my inaugural lecture is titled Fragilities of Food Security Amidst Macroeconomic Issues, a ticking time bomb. The choice of the topic is informed by the fact that food security is one of the major ways to break the shackles of poverty, which I dread, and the fear of which forced me to study economics. Aside my love of food, I start this lecture by giving meaning to the important keywords in the topic, and thereafter discuss other details. What is food? Mr. Vice Chancellor, the place of food has been made known from inception. That is creation. In the book of man, food is a basic necessity of life. Its importance at the household level is obvious, as it is a basic means further submission about food can be given as follows. One, in view of the importance of food in man's life, food is rated as the most basic of all human needs. Two, man needs food for life sustenance, prevention of sickness, and provision of energy. for the normal psychological activity of the body, including the normal state of mind. This is reflected in figure 1. As this we can see from our figure 1, if there is food security, then automatically there will be sickness. There is sickness, we are going to have a non-productive life, and that will lead to great non-productivity and growth challenges. Figure 1 is just a way of explaining vicious circle of vicious constellation of poverty. That is a situation in which one problem leads to the other. In economics, we refer to that as a vicious circle of constellation of forces, problem leading to the other. Then 3. Hence, the need for food security becomes pertinent as it eventually affects a nation's productivity and growth. Olorunfemi 2011, 2013. What is food poverty? Food poverty is the state of being without reliable access to food. Olorunfemi 2007. Many people live every day with hunger or food insecurity as their constant companion. The food insecurity in Nigeria is a recurrent and double-digit problem. What is food security? Mr. Vice Chancellor, food security is a complete reduction in starvation and hunger. Food security has been conceptualized in different but complementary ways. The World Bank 1991 defined it as a condition where everyone has access to sufficient food to live a healthy and productive life. You said 1999, Valentine Odibo 2015, and Cathedral 2016. Define food security as a situation where everyone has physical, social, and economic access to sufficient food to meet their dietary needs in order to stay healthy. Meeting this goal in the face of near development challenges confronting Nigeria remains a daunting exercise. Well, there may need for us to know what food security is. Food security entails 3 different things. There must be what we call food availability. There must be what we call food demand, and of course, the food utilization. We are going to look at this as we continue. It is apparent that hunger is ravaging the lands. What's it? There is no end in sight, as the latest forecast by the FAO 2022 strongly projects that Nigeria efforts to achieve zero hunger by 2030 are being seriously undermined. At the 2018 World Food Day, the Rome-based agency warned of the dangers ahead, citing climate change and the ethno-religious conflicts plaguing the country. What are the macroeconomic issues? 2 major macroeconomic issues that affect food security, which are considered of above 8 billion people. Index Model 2023. Between the period 1980 to 2000, the world population rose from 4.4 billion to 6.0 billion, with the figure projected to rise to 9.2 billion in 2050. World Bank 2009. In Africa, Nigeria is the most populous African country. Despite a progressive increase in population, there has been a decline in agricultural production, as observed by Hebo 2011, Adeola 2008, and Ogutegbe et al. 2018, who posted 774 local government areas in the country, will go a long way in reversing food production. The same situation is observed across other developing countries, such as Cameroon, Libya, and so on. In fact, the world food demand is expected to grow by 60% towards 2050. FAO 2015. There is therefore the tendency for the Earth's population to outgrow the capacity to feed it. The Nigeria growing population and inflation problem. Mr. Vice Chancellor, Nigeria adds 5 million people to our population every year. The results This results in a significant increase in demand for food. In addition to this, over 22 million Nigerians willing and able to work are unemployed. Olorunfemi and AMIDST, 2004, far away, holds that if Nigeria is better able to manage their population growth and can get a greater proportion of our people to work and produce, she can reduce long-term inflation significantly. According to Bode 2022, which analyzed the movements of Nigeria exchange rate against the US dollar amidst rising inflation, better management of the population, and improved productivity, we aim to reduce long-term inflation in Nigeria. The World Bank 2022 submits that Nigeria population stood at 211.4 million by the end of 2021, with a 2.6% increase compared to 206.14 million recorded a year before, indicating that Nigeria population increased by over 5 million people in just 1 year. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS 2023, showed that the inflation rate has risen to 21.09 at the end of 2022. But please note, at my last check, the inflation level 27.3. I don't know if it has increased. The increase in the composite index was due to increases in the core and food inflation rate in the year 2022. Speaking of Nigeria inflation rates, NBS 2022 showed that at the end of 2022, it rose to 23.72%, representing 5.39% increase compared to the rate recorded at the end of 2021. That was 18.34%. The increase was driven by a significant hike in the prices of essential food items. On table 1, we have values of some macroeconomic variables between 2000 to 2020. From the table, it can be observed that inflation has grown double-digit rate from 2001 down to 2020, except for year 2007, 2014, and 2015. Figure 3 shows the trend and growth pattern between population and inflation growth in Nigeria. As the population is growing, inflation is equally growing. From that figure 3, we have two different panels there. We have the upper panel showing the trend in population, and of course the lower panel showing inflation. So what we can point out here, you can see, it's just like a ladder. The population is increasing, so also inflation is increasing. Population growth are passing food production in Nigeria. Mr. Vice Chancellor, already signs of food deficit are visible. The United Nations, the African Development Bank, and the former British Prime Minister, Theresa May, have described Nigeria as the global poverty capital. May and the AFDB aver that 80% of the population are living in extreme poverty. Olayemi 1998 and Olorunfemi 2006 disclosed that feeding Nigeria's current and future population is a critical challenge. According to Olorunfemi 2006, with sustained growth rate of 2.7% annually and fertility rates of 36.9 births per 1,000 people, Nigeria population will continue to increase in the foreseeable future. However, as Nigerian population continues to increase, it is becoming increasingly challenging for food supply to meet demand. This is so because increased population raises food demand, food costs, or lead to overutilization of country resources, thus affecting the food security. FOA projects that by 2050, population and economic growth will result in the doubling of the demand for food globally. It is not that Nigeria cannot feed its citizens, but because of poor coordination over dependency on oil income and misplacement of priorities, all efforts at increasing food production and supply fall flat. This is why the FAO lists Nigeria as one of the 37 countries in the world in need of external food assistance. Is that not funny? Then you look at that diagram. We try to show the relationship between population and food production in Nigeria. This is just the other side of the other diagram we projected. You can see, as the population is slightly what we call it now, is growing. Then look at the lower panel. You can see the rate of food production is coming up. So we are in danger. So figure 4, depict the growth rate between population growth and food production between year 2000 and 2020. As it can be seen, as the population is growing, the food production is decreasing. Then table 2 shows the food production from 1990 to 2021 for such foods which include grains, roots, and tuber crops, beans and soya, and of course, vegetables. From table 2, we have figure 6. Figure 6 shows that the roots and tubers are the highest size of production between years 2018 and to 2021, followed by grains, vegetables, beans, and soya, respectively. Relevant macroeconomic theoretical framework. Mr. Vice Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, a theoretical perspective which is relevant to the study of food security is the Malthusian theory of population. For those of us who took economics in our undergraduate days, I want to believe you'll be familiar with this. Yeah, it's the Malthusian theory of population. Matters 1826 discussed population in relation to food availability. He claimed that the world was headed toward global food shortages. He argued that the needs of sustenance, that is food, will not be able to mix up with the rising population. This theory proposed by Malthus was instigated by the rapid growth of population that is experienced in Nigeria today. His thought was also influenced by the great difficulty of increasing food production at that time. According to him, where it was possible to increase food productivity by arithmetic progression, population increases by what? Geometric progression. Using this formula, he concluded that the growth of population will outstrip the growth of food production. By this, it meant that population will always grow faster than food production, thus making people to be food insecure. He suggested that to ensure food security, so as to forestall this imminent Malthusian trap, people to think of how to increase food output and make it available to those who need it. In contrast to this, Tawad 1994 and Aboyade 1983, as used in Olorunfemi 2011, argued in favor of what he termed optimum population. He defined this as a situation in which the subsistence level, that is food, will be equal to population. If you look at that diagram, you see, immediately there is a difference between subsistence level and population. Then there will be crisis. That is what this diagram is trying to see. So in figure 7, if the population is increasing such that it increases beyond OP1, can we see OP1 there? From the margin, then OP1. OP1. the population will not be supported by the available food. Another relevant theory is the one explained by the pure demand model, Aboyade 1983. The main assumption behind this pure demand model, as shown in figure 8, is that the supply curve of food is perfectly elastic up to the point of full employment. However, once full employment is reached, the supply curve changes suddenly from perfect elasticity to zero elasticity, such that any increase in demand for food will result in a jump in the price level to P2. In the case of Nigeria, there is continual increase in population and then demand for food, while the rate of production is decreasing. If we look at figure 3 and 4, earlier projected, evidences abound that Nigeria is sitting on a time bomb. As a result of this ticking time bomb of food unavailability, my research focused on food security using different methods of analysis, method of estimating food security. Mr. Vice Chancellor, in my curiosity to understand the food security position in Nigeria, majority of my research focus on employing diverse methods of analysis to interrogate the issue. The first one is what refers to as the calorie and protein content of foods approach. This method is to determine whether an individual person is food secured or food insecure. To be food secured, such individual must have taken 2,250 kilocalories of energy and 65 grams of protein. Olorunfemi 2006. The calories and protein content for each food are listed in table 3. Please, we have it on in the workshop. Just try to go through. Then the second one that I use is the discriminant analysis method. The discriminant function method is used to investigate differences between groups or individuals. The discriminant analysis aims at answering 3 important questions, namely, 1, what are the variables that discriminate food insecure from food secured households? 2, what is the relative importance of this variable to each other? 3, how well do these discriminating variables perform to correctly classify new sample into food secure and food insecure? Mr. Light, please don't take water. Thank you. Thank you. The discriminant method in 2006 and 2009 is specified as equation 1 and 2. The equation is important in this book. And for us to be able to classify individual into food secure and food insecure, we have a cutoff point that we normally use. And that's why we use equation 3 to capture. Food demand analysis method. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, ladies and gentlemen, this method is used to identify the various determinants of food demand. With this method, we look at the influence of price, income, and demographic variables, such as age, education, and family size. In literature, some of the demand function models that have been used include the following. Let us start with the first one. Also demand model. The demand function can be generalized talking of expenditure share. And there are ways to calculate it. And apart from the expenditure share that we have included, we also introduce demographic variables, which that age in that model 5 represents. Ordinarily, it's more or less the same thing as the first one. Then the almost ID demand system, that is the 3-1, the third one. The age model has budget share that are linear function. Linearity here is saying that your income is constant over time, which is not so. So So these eight models can be specified as equation 8. Equation 8. This model was used in Olorunfemi 2011. Therefore, the quadratic almost ideal demand system that we refer to as POD. The POD is a simple generalization of the original model, which incorporates a quadratic income curve. By introducing the quadratic income curve, the model gains more flexibility. So what we are saying is that 8 is the same thing as the POD, but the POD allows for flexibility. And if you look at model 17, the last function of that model is in parentheses. And that is raised to power 2. That is the quadratic term for the income term. That is, this time around, we are not saying that it is not possible for your income to be constant over time. Your income, Mr. Vice can decide to increase your income. You can also decide to put it down. So in that case, this math model, the quadratic almost I think the math system is very useful in estimating the food security position for the country. Thank you. Then the research effort on food security. Mr. Vice my research on food security focus on interrelated dimensions of food security, which includes food availability, food demand, and food utilization. First is the first thing that my research covered will be the empirical research on food availability. The food supply of a nation is through domestic food production and import. In turn, the ability of a nation to import food depends on our export standing, foreign exchange reserves, value of essential non-food imports, and debt service obligation. Olorunfemi 1998 and Olorunfemi 2011. Food production index covers food crops that are considered edible and that contain nutrients. From table 4, already projected. Table 4. The food production indexes were 107.5, 106.3, and 10.81 for years 2019, 2020, and 2021, respectively. There was negative growth rate of minus 3.81% and minus 1.12% for 2019 and 2020, but a slight growth of 1.67% in year 2021. This does not signal a good omen for food security. From table 4 too, the export planning are not too good to attract attention. Also, table 4 shows that the Nigerian foreign exchange reserve stood at $38.3 billion, $36.7 billion, $40.4 billion, and $35.5 billion in the years 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, respectively. From this, there was negative growth in foreign reserves from 2019 to 2022, except in 2021, when there was an abysmal low positive growth of 10.20%. In 2022, the foreign reserve recorded a surprise negative growth of minus 12.14%. This does not portend good for food security position, because if there is food crisis, there will not be enough foreign exchange that Nigeria will fall back on. That means Nigeria will be on the brink of catastrophe that is waiting for an impending bomb to detonate. The second something that I've used there is my empirical research contribution on food demand analysis. Mr. Vice Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, several of my research provided evidence on the understanding of food demand structure in southwestern Nigeria. Under this, the first I did was to look at determinants of food demand using discriminant analysis. Olorunfemi 2006 examine the determinant of food demand assets in some southwestern states. The results are summarized in Table 5. The interpretation are as follows. For Osun, Ondo, Ekiti states, and for the 3 states put together, the food security status of a household will improve as the percentage of food expenditure from household income, the percentage of household food expenditure for carbohydrates, and the percentage of household food expenditure for animal protein, then household income per month of its heads and education of household heads are respectively higher, and vice versa, giving other variables. On the other hand, a food secure household in Osun, Ondo, and Ekiti tend to have a smaller level of household size than a food insecure household, given other factors. This implies that decrease in household size will probably promote the household to be food secured. I also did the measurement of responses of food demand to changes in prices, income, and demographic variables. Olorunfemi 2013 examined demand for food in Ondo State using polls. The results from the findings are the following. 1, that there is much positive response to movements in relative prices. 2, that a marginal increase in the price of beverage and its products will lead to a substantial decline in its consumption. Then the last one, actually, the coefficient of on-price elasticity for staple foods to low-income farmers is higher than for every other income group. The implication of this result is that low-income groups are more sensitive to price change. This is in line with Olorunfemi 2011. Olorunfemi 2013 also shows that the demand for food demand, also shows that demand for food depends on the age and composition of household, that is, household size. From Olorunfemi 2013, we can see that the impact of price, income, and demographic factors on food demand in order to reduce food poverty in Nigeria are enormous. Food prices continue to soar day by day, going out of the reach of the common man, while the income of the households in the country are being debased by the staggering inflation rate. This underscores the fact that household income can hardly cope with soaring food prices, which has necessitated large food spending out of household income of between 60% and 80%, coupled with poor income per head in Nigeria. Mr. Vice Chancellor, in 2020 and thereafter, the composite consumer price continued to increase, CBN 2022. Now, the average income for government workers per month in Nigeria is 30,000 naira per month. Despite this humiliating income figure, notwithstanding our riches, household income is not guaranteed because of the seemingly insufferable unemployment problem in the country. According to the guidance 2021, the number of fully employed Nigerians in 2015 was put at 67 million, while the figure now stands at 30 million. The 37 million people who have lost their job 6 years are not necessarily dead. Nigerians must do something about them by providing what they will eat, or we will all suffer what they are suffering. This picture portrays a very gloomy household food security in the country that makes it a ticking time bomb. The third contribution is my contribution to knowledge on food utilization. According to FAO 1996, 2006, the minimum daily food utilization, that is the daily per capita requirement for food security in order to avoid food poverty, is that each individual consumption must contain 2,250 kilocalories of energy and 65 grams of protein. To be able to know the situation in Nigeria, Olorunfemi 2006, 2009, and 2011 look at the average food nutrient content of household food consumption. The result for Olorunfemi 2011 are shown in table 6 and 7. Table 6 and 7. It should be pointed out that these food nutrient contents were estimated from the data collected on the quantity of various food commodities consumed by household and recorded during the household survey using the calorie and the protein content of food provided by PCU 2002. Olorunfemi 2011 notes that food intake sources are less diversified and that carbohydrate food dominate the diet in the 3 states of Southwest Nigeria, which the study covers. The average energy intake in all the 3 states was about 2,371.32 kilocalories per capita per day, which is marginally above food energy adequacy. However, the average intake of proteinous food in all the study states was lower than the threshold, implying an unstable food security situation. Notwithstanding the finding of food situation from each of the states, a high percentage of the survey respondents claimed they were fully food secured when asked the extent to which they were food secured. To them, it is financial people. For the sake of ensuring that one is full, according to the Yoruba, this might be so because the respondents lack adequate education, as they did not know the adequacy of both calorie and protein intake per capita per day. So majority of people don't know that for you to be able to say that I am okay for the day, you must have consumed 2,250 kilocalories of energy and 65 grams of protein. But assuming you don't eat anything, yeah, I'm okay. You are not okay. Yes. Fragilities of food security in Nigeria. Mr. Vice the fragilities of food security in Nigeria call for our general attention. It is a ticking time bomb that we gloss over for too long. And this is uncomfortable to contemplate. To continue to overlook this seeming danger will see Nigeria existing rather than living. And it will be a time bomb waiting to explode very soon. The reason why our food security situation is fragile are summarized as follows. 1, lack of technologies for processing, packaging, and storage. Too much of the Nigerian harvest is lost to spoilage and infestation. On the journey to the consumer, losses occur in all operations, from harvesting through handling, storage, processing, and marketing. 2, low rate of technology adoption. Technology may be tested and proven effective, but it may not be acceptable to the end users. There were instances where farmers are rejected improved seeds and farming practices because they were incompatible with their social, cultural, and institutional practices. 3, lack of information on marketing channels for farmers and processors. In Nigeria, progress in food marketing and distribution is impeded by a number of social, economic, and technological problems, such as inadequacy in the provision of market information, credit, source, and storage facilities. 4, unwillingness of the entrepreneurial class. Nigeria is blessed with a great deal of entrepreneurial talents. The willingness to invest in the food production subsector of the economy is seriously lacking. The willingness of our entrepreneurs to invest in agriculture is not unconnected with the fact that agriculture does not give quick economic returns as non-agricultural enterprises do. 5. Infrastructure. According to Gutegbe Eto 2018, Olorunfemi 2010, Olorunfemi and Aaua 2012, the development of infrastructure in rural areas is parallel to agricultural development. 6. High dependency ratio and low income. Many studies reveal a high consumer workers ratio in the survey states. Most of the household heads are employed in the informal sector, where earnings are very low and irregular. There's variation on income strength on some types of foods. The total percentage of household income strength on carbohydrate food is higher for all states than for proteinous food. Food staples, which are richer in one nutrients but deficient in others, are the main dietary sources. 8. Urban migration of rural youth. A number of reasons are responsible for rural migration among the youths. The excitement and benefit of city life, such as motion pictures, sporting events, hotel, bars, and television shows, all of which provide avenue for relaxation and excitement for city dwellers, but are non-existent in villages. Recommendation. Mr. Elijah Jonathan, the fragilities of food security are seriously with us. The food situation in Nigeria is so fragile, delicate, and unlikely to be able to resist strong pressure or attack if care is not taken. Therefore, to avoid the imminent time bomb, the federal and state governments ought to yield available money and implement solutions to the impending threat of food shortage. The following are possible areas of intervention which can mitigate the problem of food insecurity in Nigeria. 1. Increase domestic food production. Increase food supply and food availability. Enhance stability in both food production and supply. Local production of food that are low availability in the country to be encouraged. 2. Availability of arable lands. More arable lands to be allotted for farming purposes, and enabling conditions to be provided as incentive for more participatory engagements in the agricultural sector. 3. Proper funding of the agricultural sector. More funding should be allocated to the agricultural sector to strengthen research and extension services. Empowerment program in form of funding for youths who may be interested in farming to be encouraged in many parts of the country. Introduction of favorable income policy. The more income the household earns, the less prone to food insecurity the household tends to become. Therefore, effort must be made to prioritize more income generating opportunity for the people. 5. Upward movement of food prices. Food prices are essential determinants of food security. Food prices seem to be rising faster than the income of households. It is important to design and implement policies that will eventually reduce cost of food. 6. Public enlightenment on households' nutritional requirements. In the short run, there is a need to encourage households to improve their nutritional intake through a reallocation of food expenditure. 7. Proper planning of households. There is a need to educate and encourage people towards proper family planning and the adoption of habits of savings. 8. Population control policy. Family size must be reduced. A population policy which involves the use of adequate strategy to effect population planning and control must be in place. Dependent stage, number 9. In planning, attention must be paid to this age group so that adequate provision can be made for the group. 10. Social services policy. Policies on social services must allow for easy accessibility by the populace at subsidized costs. 11. Stable macroeconomic policy. The maintenance of stable macroeconomic policy is required to restore stability to many food security variables. Government must be ready to control inflation, and not only that, inflation as a microeconomic variable must equally be controlled. Then microeconomic policy. There must be introduction of specific economic policies designed to increase food production and food availability. My other contribution to scholarship. Mr. Vice Chancellor, my research efforts have not only been in the area of poverty alleviation and food security. I have also carried out several studies on the impact of export, inflation, public expenditure, trade, exchange rates, infrastructural investments, public investments, and other macro fundamentals on economic growth. Indeed, my research has provided empirical documentation of the roles of various macro fundamentals on growth. My research work has provided original evidence on the role of borrowing, exports, inflation, trade on economic growth. Olorunfemi 1999, 2004, 2006, Olorunfemi on Africa 2004. Alimi and Olorunfemi 2018. My work on foreign borrowing, export and economic growth in Nigeria, Olorunfemi 1999, has shown that the extent to which any country can save, invest, and attract foreign capital depend on its basic domestic policy framework. Olorunfemi 2006 conducted scientific analysis of export and economic growth in the ECOWAS countries. The contribution is in the form of an improvement in export that will put the nation on the right path of development. Specifically, Olorunfemi and Africa 2004 posited that there to be a deliberate policy and commitment of enabling economic growth and development through increase in non-oil export in the quest to look at how to achieve economic growth. We have researched the area of foreign exchange earning, interest rate, and exchange rates. Olorunfemi and Akinlebo 2004 look at the terminal of foreign exchange flow to Nigeria, where Olorunfemi following and Akinlebo 2008 examine a time-series analysis of real deposit rate of interest and savings mobilization in Nigeria. These studies are distinct when compared with earlier studies in the field, as they adopt time series approach more suitable to modeling in a non-stationary environment. Bernard and Olorunfemi 2012 equally look at trade and exchange regime policies options and its implication for economic growth in Nigeria. Before our work in this area, there was a dearth of research in the area of trade and exchange policy option using a computable general equilibrium CGE approach in Nigeria. My research work on the attainment of growth also considered the place of public expenditure. Ogunleye and Olorunfemi 2006, Ebuaba and Olorunfemi 2012. In 2006, we looked at public expenditure and economic growth in Nigeria using a co-integration analysis. The paper established that there is a negative impact of capital expenditure on growth, and this is attributed to corruption, which manifests in form of fake, inflated, or unexecuted contracts, among others. My research work on the role of public investment and economic growth in Nigeria using an auto-regressive model. Olorunfemi 2008 find out that public expenditure impacted positively on economic growth and that there was no link between gross capital formation and GDP. This paper was published by Baker College Center for Graduate Studies, Flint, Michigan, USA. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, this paper was adjudged good and was republished by the Nigeria Economic Summit in Journal of Economic Policy Review 2009. After taking permission from the media publisher, this paper is reported today to have been cited many times. Furthermore, I have examined manufacturing performance, infrastructural services, and manufacturing growth, capital and corporate performance, industrial productivity and employment generation, This includes Patrick and Olorunfemi 2005, Olorunfemi Obamoye Adetunji and Ogunleye 2013, Ogunleye and Olorunfemi 2002, Olorunfemi 2010, Dare and Olorunfemi 2010, Obamoye and Olorunfemi 2011, and Olorunfemi 2015. Especially Olorunfemi Obamoye Adetunji and Ogunleye 2013 looks at manufacturing performance in Nigeria and its implications for sustainable development. The study contributed by showing that investment capacity, utilization, and imports were major determinants of manufacturing performance for the period, and that the key to reversing the poor performance of Nigerian manufacturing is to provide incentives for firms to become more export-oriented. Olorunfemi 2010 investigated the dynamic analysis of infrastructural services and manufacturing growth in Nigeria. Mr. Vice Chancellor, the paper was published by University of Alabama, India, and it is highly celebrated. I have frequently examined issue of corruption and financial sector in Nigeria. Olorunfemi and Alili, 2018. We also look at globalization, democracy, and size of government by testing for efficiency and compensation hypothesis for Nigeria. Alili and Olorunfemi 2020. Mr. Vice Chancellor, this paper, Olorunfemi and Alili 2018, was published by University of Timisoara, Romania. We saw this publication mentioned here. It is therefore apparent that my research commitment, efforts, and thoughts have been made available to my peers, not just in the local, but also in the international community. Ladies and gentlemen, my contribution to humankind are not limited to research work indicated above. I have equally made significant contribution in the area of capacity building and mentoring. Over the years, I have successfully supervised over 35 students at the postgraduate level. Yes. Out of which 5 were awarded PhDs, while one PhD student is still working on his thesis. And to the glory of God, 2 of the 5 that obtained the PhD are academic staff in the Department of Economics of Aaua. Apart from this, to the glory of God, since I was promoted professor in 2013, I have assisted in assessing over 20 colleagues to the rank of either professor or associate professor, and many to the rank of senior lecturer. Ladies and gentlemen, the Almighty God has equally assisted me in lending a voice to the various conversations, debates, and conferences worldwide in places such as USA, London, Sweden, Belgium, Netherlands, Malaysia, and others. In 2008, I served as consultant to United Nations Development Program, UNDP, on Ondo State workshop on physical policy capacity building initiative. In 2009, I served as consultant in a workshop on the Ondo State Vision 2020, sponsored by Ondo State Minister of Economic Planning and Budgets. In my academic journey, I have undergone academic training in different places. In 2009, I attended Master Graduate School of Social Sciences, Wageningen University, Netherlands. Also in 2011, I attended Ecomod Modeling School, held at Pre-University Brazil, Belgium, where I obtained certificate in practical CV modeling. In the area of administration and service, to the glory of God, Mr. Vice, I was the pioneer coordinator of the Department of Accounting. Yes, for those who don't know. God used me and few others, lecturers,
to start that department. In 2008, I was appointed the acting head of the Department of Economics, in addition to serving in various committees at the department, faculty, and university level. I served as the chairman of the University Guest House. Also, I served as the acting director of Institute of Patent Program. To the glory of Almighty God, I served as the dean of the Faculty of Social and Management Sciences. I have equally been appointed in many other positions, too numerous to mention. And you may want to know, even presently, I am the director of DSA unit. Unless I pay tribute to some important individuals whose influence on my life and scholarship cannot be quantified, I would like to thank everyone who has helped me through my academic journey. I do not see my success as my own, but the success is from these people. First and foremost, I give thanks to Almighty God who made today a reality and giving me the strength to keep going. God has been faithful to me, and He redeemed me and helped me to overcome my inner fears. I appreciate the Vice Chancellor, Professor Olorunfemi, my own Vice Chancellor, for your outstanding, unusual, extraordinary ability, unparalleled commitment to excellence, and your visionary leadership quality. I have the privilege of closely witnessing your remarkable ability and transformative contribution to the development of our university. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, your entire building spirit and problem-solving mindset have set you apart as a leader in this. Your drive to create value for the university is evident in your meticulous attention to details and uncompromising attitude. I thank you for providing the platform for me to showcase my journey and research plan for the future. Thank you, sir. Who happens to be my senior in the secondary school? For his love for education and patience for hard work, I thank my mother, Mrs. Fumilayo, my PhD. This is Professor Ajibefu Bekele, who later became the Vice Chancellor of this great university. For the knowledge imparted, Professor, I'm very grateful, sir. You have done well to me. I thank all my teachers. I have several very good lecturers of economics in my undergraduate days. My most inspiring lecturer was late Professor Padioni Model of the University of Ibadan, Professor Fabayo, Professor E. Akinlo, and Professor Ogunleye. Professor Ogunleye was really a brilliant lecturer, inspiring in the best possible way, not just because he had all sorts of technical expertise and was good at passing it on, but because he encouraged us to think. Professor Akinlo was everything a good lecturer, a good teacher should be. Stern at times, but good-natured, clever, creative, and humorous. Professor Fabayo was an unconventional, original, and inspiring lecturer. For every class, he constantly used to cover the whiteboard with mathematics relating to anything from economics. I owe my interest in quantitative economics to him. I am very grateful to the various institutions, organizations, and individuals which provided platform for me to increase my knowledge. In this academic journey, I was providing some of the various grants that enable me to carry out some of my research that were reported in this lecture, especially UNDP for the consultancy services I rendered, Tertiary Education Trust Water Fund, and Adekunle Ajah University. I thank Dr. Brown Foy of the Saka Corporation USA for the training on statistical information system. I also thank Marshall Graduate School of Social Sciences Wageningen University in Netherlands for the short training on modeling. I appreciate my senior colleagues and colleagues in the following universities: Obafemi Awolowo University, Ekiti State University, Ado-Ekiti, Lagos State University, Lagos, Afebaola University, Ado-Ekiti, Adekunle Ajasin University, Akuba Akoko. I also appreciate all members of staff of the Faculty of the Social Sciences and Faculty of Administration and Management Sciences of Adekunle Ajasin University, Akuba Akoko, for the opportunity to work together and share academic experience, which will have been taken for granted but remain permanent in our memory. Many thanks also to staff of the BSc office. To all the support staff of this university, I say a big thank you. I appreciate very deeply my senior colleagues and colleagues in the Department of Economics of the university. Professor Mrs. L. Pachoron, she was my lecturer in my undergraduate degree. A mother indeed. Thank you. Professor Patukasi, Dr. Bakari, Dr. Pajiron, Dr. Ilesami, Dr. Ibiroke, Dr. Ofoyelu, Dr. Santos, Dr. Sugaisi, Dr. Taiwo, Mr. Kevin, Dr. Oboye, Dr. Okibi, Mr. Ayeni, Mr. Agbede, Ms. Patensis, Mr. Temilayo, Mr. Billy, as well as my students, both past and present, in the Department of Economics. I greet you all. I appreciate Mr. Akiri Sola Daudu and Mr. Adeoye Sunday Smith. Both of them were my former students and still very close to me today. I appreciate them for their love. I thank Mr. Toyin Ojumola, the president of alumni of the Department of Economics. Is he here? Thank you. He came from Abuja to attend this lecture. I appreciate him. I sincerely thank with much love my siblings for their support. Mr. Olorunfemi, Mr. Olorunfemi, Mr. Olorunfemi, Mr. Yomi Adamolekun, late Segun Adamolekun, my brother, Mrs. Kike, Mrs. Toyin, Dr. Ola Olorunfemi, and Mrs. Joko Adamolekun. I appreciate all my in-laws as well. I appreciate my step-brothers and sisters, Engineer Polari Olorunfemi, Mr. Daise Olorunfemi, Mr. Sonja Olorunfemi, and Mrs. Biola Awodeli. I appreciate my mother's sibling, Mrs. Abiye Adamolekun. Is here? Is my mother, the junior sister to my mother, who was a tower of strength behind me. And I late husband, Mr. Rachidi Adamolekun, for their impact in my life. Thank you, Mom. Thank you. I appreciate all my in-laws. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate all my in-laws. Mr. and Mrs. Ajichapiola, Mrs. Temi Lola Oguyebi, Mrs. Ajano, Senator Bodiola, Pastor Ayola, Mrs. Gbenga Akongbe, Mr. Kayode, Engineer Ademola Ola, Mr. and Mrs. Olawale Sokola, Miss Yemi Ajayi. I only appreciate my in-law. We came with the husband. Thank you, sir. God bless you. I equally appreciate our family. The Usolitila dynasty. Every honors to mention here. I appreciate all my street neighbors at Federal Housing in Inaugural. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I want to sincerely thank my KBAC. Owoluaye, Àkàtà ńlá ó forú ọ̀rọ̀ mọ́lẹ̀. Di ọlọ́wọ̀ fọwọ́ kingdom. Ọba Gbádégẹṣin Ògúnwòye and his followers, including the chief that accompany him here. I appreciate you, my king. I also thank all the cabinets here present. I appreciate the alignment of our Cuba. Thank you, sir. I appreciate all other of us. I pray that God grant you all the wisdom of Solomon to manage your individual kingdom. I thank all my children, Toby, to your sister, and Toby Lola, my girlfriend. I have just one here, Toby Lola. Thank you. Mr. Vice Chancellor, permit me to introduce to these unique others. My trusted partner in every question. A unique woman. A woman who is loving, affectionate, caring, tender-hearted, romantic, logic, warm-hearted, considerate, and forgiving. No doubt, God wanted me to be happy and successful in life. That was why He gave me my wife. I would not have come this far without the precious wife of my youth, who means everything to me. I would not have been half of the man I am today without her. If love is sweet as flower, then my wife is that sweet flower of love. I want to take the Lord to hold your hands and heart forever. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You are mine, and only mine. Thanks for your faithfulness to our family. Thank you for being the ever-present sunshine that brightens my darkest hour. Thanks for your diligence in running our home. Anytime I embark on academic journey, you are the finest woman on the planet. Thank you for standing by me. I really appreciate your loyalty. I love the home that you have created. Mr. Vice Chancellor. Mr. Vice Chancellor. I think for me to introduce one of my students. He is a commissioner in Ondo State. He is fellow. President commissioner in Ondo State. What is his name again? Olorunfemi.
Okay.
I forgot to.
Okay.
So thank you for coming. God bless you. Above all, I give thanks to the Almighty Jehovah. My heart is filled with endless praise. All glory to Adonai. Great is thy love. Great is thy mercy. Great is thy faithfulness. Almighty Savior, thank you for the gift of the movement. Mr. Vice Chancellor, in this academic journey, let me proudly say this in Latin. Veni, vidi, beside. Meaning, I came, I saw, I conquered. God has endowed me as I keep on discovering new heights, there are still many rivers to cross and many mountains to climb. In waiting for God to assist me in this future academic studies, allow me to make this melody unto Him. I'm pressing on, that's one way. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for accompanying me on my memorable academic spatio-temporal voyage, and wish you God's all-around protection at all times. Thank you. Shall we put our now? It is my pleasure to invite the Vice Chancellor, Professor Olubega Ige, for his closing remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have come to the end of this 21st inaugural lecture. Really giving us the thought that he is actually a professor. I'm happy for him because he has come a long way. And we thank God for his life, that his mother is here to witness this important occasion. Mama, I want to congratulate you. Yes, I want to congratulate you. Oríire ni eléyìí, oríire yìí náà á kalẹ̀ o. Professor Olorunfemi is one of the most committed academic staff in this university. I also want to appreciate the wife, Mrs. Olajumoke Olorunfemi. Thank you. Professor has described you in very, very many lovely ways. And just a few minutes ago, I confirmed that you are in it for romantic. God will continue to be with you and all members of your family. I want to use his girlfriend. Tomilola, Omo Tomilola. Let me use what he said, that is his girlfriend. I want to use you as a point of contact to other children. That God in his infinite mercy will continue to uphold you. And you'll be greater than this professor. In Jesus' name. I want to thank Professor Iye Adeniola, who was the supervisor of Professor Olorunfemi. I have known Professor Adeniola for a very long time when he was chairman of ASU, Federal University of Technology, Akure. Long time ago. That time, I was also chairman of ASU in this university. Professor Adeniola is somebody that is interested in mentoring people. And that kind of mentality is what has produced Professor Olorunfemi. Thank you very much for it. Mrs. Adamolekun, who is the junior sister to the mother, we also thank you so much for this love that radiates in Olorunfemi's family. Also thank Dr. M.S. Ayerun, JP, former registrar at Adekunle Ajasin University at Makoko here. Prince Boyi Ologbese, the Honorable Commissioner for Regional Integration and Diaspora Relations. Thank you very much. I want to thank Aishi A.A. Aladesheye, representative of Olowo. Aishi Ogunleye Adafe, Aishi Olafinihan Asaba, Mr. Williams, Father Miton, and Aishi Abiola the Omosio of Ado-Ekiti. All of you are wonderfully recognized. Let me also use this opportunity to thank other members of Olorunfemi's family that are here present. God will grant you journey mercies back to your various destinations. I thank our Kabiyesi, the landlord of Akumba Akoko, who is always with us. Kabiyesi, once again, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Obviously, I want to tell you, each time you are here, I tell you we have another one. I want to inform you that we are starting 2024 on a great note. Professor A. Badamoshi, again, Faculty of Agriculture, will be presenting his inaugural lecture by February 2024. So, Kabiyesi will also be expecting you here then. I want to thank everybody, all members of staff, all our guests from various places that have graced this occasion. The good Lord will abide with you. Let me very quickly use this opportunity, since I have announced the next inaugural lecture, use this opportunity to also congratulate some of our staff who have just been appointed professors. Just yesterday, 11th December 2023. They are so numerous. And one thing that I found is that they are so excited and happy about it. They didn't allow the university to announce it before they started announcing themselves. Professor Dr. Ofaloye, Department of Business Administration. Is he here? Not here. Professor Olusola B.R. Department of English. Not also here. Professor Adedayo Ife, Department of History. Professor Mrs. Victoria K. Olugbemi, Department of History. HOD International. Professor Akiyemi S. Laleye. Professor Sunday Awoniyi. Professor Adetunbi R. Ogunleye. Not here. Professor Akijide Aboluwode, Department of English, Department of Arts Education. Professor Mrs. Dorcas Ayimoro, Department of Adult Education. Professor Festus Alabi, Department of Educational Management. Professor Lufumilayo Tayo Olajubuto, Department of Guidance and Counseling. Professor Mrs. Beatrice O. Ajidamu, Department of Guidance and Counseling. Professor Ajidamu, your wife is not here. Please take a bow on her behalf. Faculty of Science, Professor Olatunde Odini. Professor Mrs. Adelodun O. Fadare. Professor Augustine O. Olusola. Professor Adeleke O. Asogbon, Department of Chemistry. Department of Health Sciences, Professor Muraina Z. Mohammed. Department of Microbiology, Professor Kehinde T. Adegbeyide. Professor Festus A. Olajubi, Microbiology. My department, Department of Plant Science and Biotechnology, Professor Otitoloju Kekele. That's my head of department. Is he here? Not here. All right. Department of Physics and Electronics. Professor Mrs. Abimbola A. Allen. Department of Geography, Professor Mrs. Oyeyike M. Eludoyin. Department of Pure and Applied Psychology, Professor Luyinka A. Ojedo. And finally, Professor Mrs. Stella A. Olowoduoye. I congratulate all of you. Professors, not just by name or appointments. What Professor Olorunfemi has just done is what makes professor a professor. That's why I have read out your names, and I hope that you know the implication. I congratulate you once again. Thank you very much, and God bless you all. Thank you. Shall we appreciate the Vice Chancellor once again? As we take our seat, the inaugural lecturer has requested that we should appreciate his former classmates who are now all students of New Church Grammar School, Aaua. Where are you? All students, New Church Grammar School. Thank you, brother. It's we are to remain standing while the procession of the Vice Chancellor leading the hall in reverse order. Thank you.